make sure my audio is good. Check one. Okay, it is. All right, I don't expect much people to be up in here. It's 1 o'clock where I'm at. It's 2 o'clock on the East Coast. Uh, so most of you probably see this in the morning. But I wanted to talk on this before I went down for the night. So hopefully the audio is coming through good. Let me just double check, make sure it's working right. Just give me a quick second. Yeah, I think it's working. All right. Just give me a quick. Yeah, it's working. All right, cool. Well, brothers and sisters, we are here again. Uh, you guys see the title, "The Slap Heard Around the World." It was so loud, I don't even watch the Oscars, and I heard the slap all on my Facebook timeline. I'm just chilling, and then I just keep seeing people say, "Will Smith, Chris Rock, whoa, whoa," and everybody just keeps doing this thing, sharing these links, and I'm like, bro, what's going on? Then I see the thumbnail, Will Smith's like this, Chris Rock's like this. I'm like, oh man, what people got caught up in now. Um, and So I kept seeing the Facebook post, the Twitter post by brothers and sisters in the faith, and the things they were saying. I stand with Will Smith, and they basically start going down memory lane when they would beat people up, defending somebody and things like that. And uh, so I clicked on the link to see what they was talking about. Saw what happened, watched the unedited version, and then I went back and saw some of the other posts, people laughing, uh, you know, people saying they stand with Will Smith, people saying they stand with Chris Rock, everybody's talking about the Oscars. This all people gonna be talking about for like the next week. Um, I wanted to use the opportunity to kind of bring up something that we always talk about, and use this as an example of exactly why y'all need to come from among these folks and all this corruption. Um, Charles, what's going on? Uh, let's start here. I had put a post up after I saw maybe like the first or second one, and so it was a question, kind of rhetorical, but a question. And the question was, why do Christians even watch the Oscars? Like, why do you even watch the Oscars? Um, isn't it an award show awarding hypocrites? Do we really commend hypocrites? Um, actors, that's what they are. They're hypocrites. They make a living off of being little kids and pretending to be things they're not. And they act out all the evils that God hates, that He wants us to come from out of, and from among, and to live separately from, and not to participate in. It's all they do. Especially when we talk about Chris Rock or we talk about Will Smith. Um, but for a lot of people and a lot of Christians, Chris Rock is one of their favorite comedians, even though nothing godly ever comes from him. And Will Smith's a lot of people's favorite actor, even though he continually does what God hates, like what he did tonight or last night, whatever. I don't know what time the Oscars in. I don't really care. Right now they're partying, they're doing other stuff God hates, but everybody's gonna just talk about the slap tonight. So I want to remind you guys about some. Honestly, I don't even care about the Oscars. I'm only doing this because I see all these Christians that was just talking about Christ earlier today, and now they've been swept away into this foolishness. Um, so if you didn't see it, this is basically what happened. I'm gonna start here. Y'all not gonna hear it because I got the earpiece on. That's where my mic is coming from. Uh, but you'll see it. Let me just get to the point. All right, there was a dumb, corny joke that Chris Rock said, ungodly joke. Go figure. Insults Jada Smith, Everybody laughs. Will Smith chuckles. And then all of a sudden he gets up, walks on stage. Live broadcast. And then he does this. All right, so we just going to let me share my screen right quick. So y'all can at least see what I'm talking about. And then y'all can see what Christ's talking about. All right. Tells a bad joke. Once again, you guys won't hear it because I have the earpiece mic on. But you'll see it. Tells a bad joke. I don't want to hear it again either. Will Smith comes up. Everybody's like, ha 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 ha, because they don't know what's about to happen. And then, then he walks off stage. Chris Rock, you know, try to make it a funny moment because he's a comedian. He's used to being insulted when he's telling jokes and stuff. So the fact that Will Smith came on stage, slapped him in front of everybody, he's a comedian. So he's trying to turn this into a funny moment. And then everybody realized how serious it was when Will Smith decided to, keep my wife's name out your bleep bleep mouth twice. And the whole crowd went silent like, oh, this is for real. Because everybody, he's an actor. Okay, he's an actor. Chris Rock's a comedian. It's the Oscars, a whole award show for people that pretend. And so everybody thought it was just like some stage thing. People still think it's a stage thing. I don't care if it was staged. Actually, I think if it's staged, it's actually worse. It's more evil than if it was for real. If it was staged, because you didn't have to do it, but they did evil for fake. So it's worse if it was staged, actually. But either way, wicked comedian, wicked hypocrite, clash on stage, the room full of hypocrites, laughs because they get a kick out of evil, and then Christians apparently getting a kick out of it too. And so that's why we're dealing with this, because this is why, I know the Deke is knocked out right now, but this is why me and the Deke continue to teach you guys what the apostles did not allow. And if anybody's, professing believer who listening to this right now, and you saying that you follow Christ's doctrine and the apostles' doctrine, yet, you're in the theaters, you're in, you love hypocrites, you love awarding hypocrites, and therefore you was tuned in because this is something that you took interest in to this Oscars thing. And so then when this happens, everybody's like, oh, now everybody want to talk about it. So this is the new thing to talk about right now among the body for those who are into this stuff. And you'll know because they'll be putting posts and they'll be talking about it all week. All right. So, but then people realized how serious he was when he saw his face and blah, blah, blah. If I'm not mistaken, that lady played on something, Black Panther or something like that. I don't know. She looks familiar. Anyway, uh, now you guys heard me call them hypocrites. There's a reason why I'm calling them that, because that's what they are. But that's literally where you get your English word actor from. So when you read in your Bibles, in the New Testament, it's talking about hypocrites, and the Lord is talking to the Pharisees and the scribes, and people love to quote it all the time because they were hypocrites. This is what that word comes from: actor, all right, or stage player, all right, a person that pretends to be what he is not, a deceiver. That's literally what that is, a deceiver. So, so it says the word hypocrite ultimately came into English from the Greek word hypocrites, which means an actor or a stage player. All right. So when you call people hypocrites, you call them actors. All right. Yet people, want to be actors. The Greek word itself is a compound noun. It's made up of two Greek words that literally translate as an interpreter from underneath. Underneath what? Talking about the mask. That bizarre compound makes more sense when you know that the actors in ancient Greece theater wore large masks to mark which character they were playing. Today we have costumes and they put on the little skin thing that they make when they like paint on the person and make them look different. Wore large masks to mark which character they were playing, and so they interpreted the story from underneath their masks. All right, and you guys can look into that more if you want. But when you see in the Bible and the scriptures talking about hypocrites and how God hates that, that word literally comes from actors, people who pretend. All right, so it's not a good thing to pretend like what you're not. Okay, especially if you pretend to be a robber or pretend to be gay or pretend to be Medea, like Tyler Perry is, and all the Christians are talking about that. So it's wickedness, it's evil, it's from the evil one, and it's for that reason that we constantly read to you guys this. Let me share this screen. This is an excerpt from a book called Ancient Church History, Christianity Through the Centuries, written by Carnes, printed by Zondervan, the people who published the Bible Dictionary. But I'll get to the point. Well, I'll read this whole highlight part. It says the early church insisted on separation from the pagan neighbors. I'm sorry, for separation from the pagan practices of Roman society, but it did not insist on separation from pagan neighbors in harmless social relationships. In fact, Paul, by inference, made provision for such social mingling as long as it did not involve the compromise or sacrifice of Christian principles. He did, however, urge complete separation from any practice that might be related to idolatry or pagan immorality. The Christians should follow the principles of doing nothing that would harm the body that Christ owned, of doing nothing that would keep people from coming to Christ, or lead other weak Christians astray, and avoiding all that would not bring glory to God. These principles precluded, the word precluded means makes impossible, meaning the apostles made it impossible for Christians during their time. When you read in Acts 2 and they talk about, oh, the Christians broke bread daily and they abide in the apostles' doctrine, abiding in the apostles' doctrine meant not going to the pagan theaters, the stadiums where the dumb games was at, and the gladiator fights, the games, like the Olympic Games, or the temples for obvious reason, right? Idolatry. So if you were living during the time of the apostles and you were abiding by their doctrine, it you wouldn't even be among the Christian community in general if you were somebody who's supposed to have been a brethren, but you was always at the theaters and you loved hypocrites and you wanted to be one and that's your job, that's your career, and they do their little dumb war shows and you're there and you're in attendance and you goo and gaga over actors. All right. That was not the way of Christians. That ain't the way of Christians now. I know that because of, the centuries and corruptions that's taking place and many false teachers and people who are clueless regarding to how the Lord wants to live. They think this is like some Christian liberty that they think there's nothing wrong with it. They think they're not sinning. There's no conviction in them because they just lack knowledge. And they're smarty pants leaders who always reading a million books, never can see this plain evil right in their face. And so, but the apostles didn't allow Christians to go to the pagan theaters. Why? Because full of immorality. Don't believe me? Well, we just watched one of it. All right. This is the exact reason with the slap, I'm calling it the slap heard around the world, is the exact reason why we don't belong there among them. This is the exact reason why you guys shouldn't watch the Oscars. Not because it's the white man, not because it's Hollywood, not because I just personally don't like it. It's because it is evil. That's why. It's evil. It's sinful. And so, so the apostles didn't allow that. So if the apostles and the Christians of their day like rose from their graves right now to live in our society, and you put them on one side, and they observed how the things Christians they do today and have no problem doing, and actually think they're walking uprightly before God. Think about this. Yesterday was Sunday. Many people went to church to worship Christ, right? And after worshiping Christ, later on this night, the same day, we're looking forward to watching the award shows of them crowning hypocrites. Who was the best hypocrite? That's literally what it was. Who's the best one? Who's the best hypocrite who entertained us this year? And the Christians are watching it. Oh, look who won. Oh, man, I wish they had a won. Best supporting actor. Best supporting hypocrite. Like, really? You really wish this person would have won best supporting hypocrite? Like, I know the people don't know that's what they're saying, but that is what they're saying though. So the apostles didn't allow that, and so every minister should be teaching Christians this. There should be no reason that brothers and sisters think this is some liberty. Nobody should think this is a personal conviction. This falls under the teachings of Christ that goes to all of Christians everywhere. That's why the apostles didn't allow Christians at all, according to the teachings of Christ, to attend the pagan theaters. So they weren't going to see a play or movie. They weren't going to see Black Panther. They weren't going to see any of these foolish things. They didn't go to the stadiums, so they wouldn't have been LeBron James fans or Kobe fans watching the games, going to the games, paying for it, whatever, buying jerseys. They wouldn't have been doing that. Going to the games. Sorry, when the Olympics come around, they run around with the little torch. You don't care that Venus Williams and Serena Williams is participating or Team USA because they're all participating in an idolatry festival done unto false gods. That's literally what it is. And your God hates their gods, so yeah. And temples for the obvious reason, right? Idolatry. So there's definitely no room for Christians there. So why? Because it says, despite this attitude of moral and spiritual separation, that's why we separate from this. And so uh that's why we constantly keep reading this to you guys. And the slap heard around the world just kind of heightens the point because people are saying they're commending him, right? So, a lot of brothers and sisters are saying, oh, he was defending his wife. And so people commended him. And then I've seen posts, people going, if you don't protect me like Will did for Jada, I don't. This one else is dumb stuff, man. So you guys saw the video. And if you heard the video, Chris Rock made a dumb joke. It was evil, whether it was about Jada or not. Anyway, it was evil. All right. That's an evil joke to make people laugh because they love evil. And then everybody's laughing. Jada gets cringed in her face. Will Smith chuckles it at first, and then all of a sudden he gets mad, and then he comes up stage and he slaps the guy, and everybody's like, "He had to do that on TV, but he was defending his wife." Stop it, man. So then they're like, "I stand with Will Smith." Stop it. Stop it, bro. Are we this foolish? We shouldn't be this foolish, guys. Come on, man. First of all, we should not take our cues from hypocrites. That's the first thing. We should not take our cues of what we should do or what's commendable from people who make a living off of deceiving you. Okay? They're literally their whole career, when they stand before God, when Will Smith stands before God, if he don't repent and drop all the stuff that he does, he he literally is going to be destroyed because he literally devoted his life to being a deceiver. All right, being a deceiver as a profession. Okay, and so he slaps a man in the name of his wife. I guess he slaps him to defend his wife. Everybody's like, "Oh, how come you know I had to defend my wife?" Blah blah blah. I'm gonna let y'all be the judge of this. Hold on. I want to read something. Now, you either gonna take your cues from people who make a living off of being deceivers and hypocrites, or you're gonna take your cue from Christ. All right. Let me see, brother. Damn, said something there. Peace. This verse comes to mind about what happened. Proverbs 26:18. Like a madman who throws firebrands, arrows, and death is the man who deceives his neighbor and say, "I was only joking." Right. Absolutely, man. People think jokes are like no big deal. Like they go, "It's just a joke, bro." It was just evil, bro. Like you gotta stop making excuses for evil stuff. All right. The Lord wants us to grow in holiness and righteousness, not grow in dumbfoundedness and idiocracy. So the Apostle Peter said this. We're gonna take this cue from the apostles, holy men, and not from hypocrites, said when they hurl insults at him, talking about Christ, right? Because he said we must have the same attitude that Christ had. We must follow and imitate Christ. And the example that Christ left for us was when people insulted him, all right, like Chris Rock insulted Will Smith and insulted Will Smith's wife. Christ did not retaliate. He didn't walk up, slap the person. He didn't retaliate with a threat. He didn't go keep my name out your mouth. He didn't do any of that. Everybody's laughing and think it's funny, and I stand with Will Smith and all this dumb stuff that people are saying right now as they glory in what happened. When they hurled insults at him, he did not retaliate. When he suffered, he made no threats. Instead, he entrusted himself to him who judges justly. Now, somebody might ask, you wouldn't defend your wife, bro? You gonna tell me if a man insult your wife, you gonna just stand there? Like, that's what people love to do, man. The example you would follow is Christ's example. And following Christ's example isn't some easy thing. It's not like, well, Christ said do it. That's easy. No, it's hard. Because when somebody insults you, you want to do something back. Man insult your wife verbally, you want to do something, right? That's the natural reaction, but that ain't the action that the Lord wants us to have. He told her a joke. It was evil, but all he did was tell a joke. He didn't slap her. He didn't cause physical harm to her. He told a joke. And they're all hypocrites anyway, so why do you care? All right? They're all hypocrites. They literally do evil to each other all the time. That wasn't the first joke Chris Rock told all night, by the way. And it wasn't the first evil one. And it was the first one where he took a jab at a person. And everybody laughs in the room. Just like everybody was laughing when he said about Jada. Everybody laughed. Nobody went, oh. Nobody responded with a gasp, and the room went silent when he took the joke about Jada. Everybody was laughing. Even Will Smith himself chuckled. Everybody took the gasp. Not even when Will Smith smacked him. When Will Smith smacked him, everybody's still laughing. Ah! They thought it was staged. Think about that. The first reaction of people was they thought it was staged. So when he went up and slapped him, everybody laughed. Think about that. Think about that. Everybody in the room, full of hypocrites and evil entertainers, first reaction, they thought it was staged. Because you got a comedian up there. You got Will Smith, who's like one of the world's best fakers. And he walks on stage and does the slap almost looked like it was fake. Like it was staged. So everybody's reaction was, ho, ho, ho. And they thought it was funny. It was only until Will Smith was like, get my wife's name out your mouth. And then he was like, really? And he was like, yeah. And everybody was like, that's not staged. These people are so accustomed to making God mad and doing everything that he hates that their first reaction when evil happens is to laugh. They think it's staged. If it was a staged thing, no one would be upset. They still talk about it because it's funny to them and it's like the thing to talk about. But no one would have been like, oh, taking it all serious if they thought it was a staged thing, even though evil took place, even if it was staged. Now all of a sudden, the righteousness is about to come out of all these people. Now they're going to be saying in the comment section, Will Smith shouldn't have done that. Chris Rock shouldn't have told a joke on Jada. That was not nice. You're gonna get the super black people that's gonna be like, why are we doing this to each other, man? The man wanna see us at each other. We shouldn't be like this, dog. Like you're gonna see all these kind of people come out. Nobody would have been saying this if it was said to have been staged. Nobody would be saying this. It'll be funny, and they'll be talking about it still because it's the thing to talk about. So everybody's so accustomed to doing evil in that place, their first reaction is to laugh when this takes place, and it's only until Will Smith says some stuff that they're like, "Oh my gosh, this is serious." Then all of a sudden, everybody got righteousness in them now, and that's love your neighbor as yourself. These bunch of hypocrites. And so for Christians, this should be a clear example why y'all should come away from that stuff. Why you need to come out them theaters. Why you need to stop watching Fresh Prince. Why you need to stop watching Martin. Why y'all need to come out of this these evil stuff. Come out of them theaters. Stop supporting Will Smith. Stop supporting these hypocrites. All they do is make God mad. You're God mad. All they do is make your father mad. Y'all talking about honoring, defending your wife or whatever the case is. But okay, if God is your father, and people keep, blaspheming him or talking about him or making him mad, what's your reaction? You need to go out to slap nobody, but what should your reaction be? If you're with your mama, your natural mama, and somebody insults her or do something evil towards her, you'll be ready to fight. Well, what about when people do that to our Father, our Heavenly Father? Are you ready to separate from him because of it? Or it's just a joke, bro. It's just a joke. It was staged, bro. It's just fake, bro. It's just a movie, bro. It's just a game, bro. They're literally doing the same things. Making your Lord angry. He said, don't be at strife, don't be in rivalry, but be at peace. They don't be at peace. Yet you love what they do. That's not of what your father wants. Lord tells you, don't be hypocrite. Don't let your love be without let your love be without hypocrisy. Don't let your love be without hypocrisy. He tells you all the time, don't be a hypocrite. But as soon as you finish worshiping him that morning, that night, you glued to the TV because you want your favorite hypocrite to win an award. And there's nothing going off in your brain that's going, why am I watching this? This is stupid. Oh my gosh, this is evil. These guys are acting. He won an award. For what? What did he win an award for? These people that won awards for, what was their roles? What did they do? You got people winning awards. What was their role? Playing gay. Like, okay, and people are clapping. Yeah, you got an award for playing gay. Like, stop it, man. And you glued to the TV. Oh, who gonna win next? We shouldn't be like that. This is what it means by the world lies in the power of the evil one. All right. So Christ, when he was insulted, he didn't retaliate. So for you, if some whack comedian or wicked comedian tells a joke, don't retaliate. Even if it's about you or your mama or somebody, like, you're not to retaliate. Definitely not to go up and slap him. When he suffered, he made no threats. You ain't to give him no threats. You ain't gonna be like, yo, you lucky I'm saved because I would have done. No, you ain't. You're not even threatening them. We don't have the same mind and attitudes Christ did and follow that pattern. As hard as it is naturally, that's why you must walk by faith, not by sight. That's why you must be led by the Spirit of God and not your flesh. What else the Lord said? Hey, somebody do evil to you, don't repay evil for evil. Somebody insult you, don't repay insult for insult. On the contrary, repay evil with blessing. That ain't what Will Smith did. The slap heard around the world. That's not what that was. That wasn't a blessing slap. And the words came out of his mouth after that wasn't blessings. It was cursings. Why? On the contrary, repay evil with a blessing, because to this you were called, so that you may inherit a blessing. One more. Let's say Chris Rock is your enemy. The Lord says, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. Is that pray for them after you beat them up or slapped them or cursed at them, or do you do all the flesh stuff first, then pray for them? Do you threaten them and be like, I'm gonna pray for you? You know the way stinky up, these little stuck up brethren be acting like they threaten you, and then they be like, I'm gonna pray for you. No, never pray for you. Is that how we supposed to act? Like, it's annoying to even have to talk about this. This is what the apostle talked about when he said it's a shame to even talk about what these people do in secret. And if it's a shame to talk about what they do in secret, how much more of a shame is it to talk about what they do in the open on TV, on the Oscars, and you got all your brethren, including those that always talking spiritual all the time on Facebook with these different posts and little things that we putting out, and then all of a sudden their eyes are glued to the hypocrite TV, watching hypocrites be crowned the best hypocrites, and then the slap is heard around the world, and then here am I minding my business, and then all of a sudden, post after post after post after post, flood my timeline, and all my friends are Christians, majority of them are Christians, and they all talking about the slap. And I'm like, if we were separate, we probably wouldn't have heard about this dumb slap. We probably heard about it tomorrow, but I wouldn't have heard about it on my timeline if everybody's just doing what the Lord wanted, because all the Christians would have been like, bro, this is foolishness. If anything, the post would have said, yo, look at this evil. Stay away from this, brethren. That ain't what the post is. The post coming from brethren is, I stand with Will Smith. And like, what? So I just came on here because, once again, man, this is a classic example why to continue to tell you, brothers and sisters, and why the Lord said, come out from among them. Be not partakers of the sin, so you will not partake in the plagues. It ain't for us, bro. I used to watch the Everybody Hates Chris, and that's what everybody's doing now. They're starting to do the meme thing, and so now they're showing the slap, and then they pause and play that Everybody Hates Chris little theme song thing, and everybody's laughing about it. It's funny. Watch how many Christians post that tomorrow if they ain't did it already. Don't be led away by them, and they're gloating over evil, and they're laughing and praising, and I stand with. Don't follow them. And then some of them going to throw passages of scripture with it. Don't follow these people. They're corrupt in their thinking and their actions. The Lord wants you to come out from among them, and let this be an example why you should come out from among them, because full of immorality. Look how easy people get caught up in sin. The Lord tells us that love does not rejoice when evil happens, but rejoice with the truth wins out. There's nothing about truth that won out in what happened. Yet people just laughing and rejoicing in this, and taking sides when both sides were evil. Like, no side was good in this. It was a wicked joke told before wicked people at a wicked event. Another wicked man goes on stage, does a wicked slap, then wicked words come out of his mouth while the wicked is laughing. Then the wicked gets silent. They don't leave the place because nobody repents. Of course not. Why would they? And then they stay there to continue the wicked event where more wickedness happens. And nothing happened yet for the radars to go off in those who have the spirit of God's mind to be like, yo, I'm gonna leave from here, bro. Why am I watching this? This is stupid. This is foolishness. But you don't. Why? Because you're not being sober minded. You're not putting into practice what the Lord wants you to do. Instead, you've been deceived by the evil one with this it's just a show. It's just a award show. I ain't sinning, bro. I'm just watching them, bro. What we did here, right? We watched it. My eyes saw it. I played it. I heard it. I watched it. All right. But I didn't watch it because I want to watch the Oscars. I didn't watch it because I delight in the show or this award show. I didn't watch it because I want to see, who won because I want somebody to win a dumb award for acting. I ain't watching it because I delight in evil. I'm watching it, or my eyeball saw it because brethren were showing it. I wanted to see what in the world they were even talking about because they keep talking about standing with Will Smith and the slap thing. I look at it, see what happened, because I know it had to be wickedness. Then I see it, and now denouncing it. So there's a difference between your eyes, like the Apostle Paul when he went through Greece, and the people was doing idolatry, and he watched them. He didn't participate, but he watched them. He said, I beheld your devotion, and I see that you're so religious and superstitious. And then he begins to denounce the whole thing that they were doing, preaching against their idolatries. He didn't see them from afar. He didn't go to Greece because, oh, you know what? They got the little idol event there today. Let me go. I want to see. And he goes there and he's watching with expectation. And when a person doesn't do a certain thing, he's like, oh man, you should have done that. Like he's all involved, participating, joining himself with it. So we watched it, but it was to see what happened, and then we're calling it evil and denouncing and telling brothers to come out of that. Versus the ones who tuned in because they want to watch their favorite hypocrites. And when they don't win, they'll be like, oh, Will should have won that. Oh no, this person should have won that. Because that movie was good. Even though it's full of evil. This the type of stuff, when me and the Deep be talking about the subject, we know it gets on a bunch of people's nerves because it's contrary to majority of Christian thoughts, today at least. Um, and so it's downplayed, we call legalists by the clueless. And so they're literally defending stuff like this. Literally. If I was to say, which I am saying, this is evil, it's sin, those who love this opposes Christ. They'll be like, it's legalism. That'll be the reply. That's the reply of most people. It's legalism. And every time I hear it, I'm like, these people don't even know what legalism is. They don't even know what legalism is. Then they'll say, try to spot their liberty. Then they'll say, I'm putting my personal convictions upon people. And so I just ask, give me one righteous fruit out of this thing. Give me where it's not bad, where it's not evil. It's good in itself, but it can become evil if you make it an idol. You know how people talk. I still don't understand that kind of talk. Like the whole event is evil. They're awarding people for acting what they're not, being hypocrites. And they're winning awards for doing evil roles. And then, so the whole show is like this. It's a bunch of upper echelon folks who don't serve God. And then you're watching with expectation of who would win because you want a certain person to win. And then they're telling filthy joke after filthy joke after filthy joke after filthy joke. Wicked roles after wicked roles after wicked roles. They're dressed immodestly, half of them in there. All kind of stuff is going on. And for the most Christians' minds is there's nothing evil with this because it's not an idol in my life. Like what? Idolatry ain't the only evil we got to worry about, guys. They ain't the only evil we got to be watchful for. What about strife? What about contention? What about insults? What about rivalry? What about all these other things that are evil? Abortion, homosexuality, and idolatry ain't the only evils in the world that the Lord wants you to abstain from. Yet they seem like those are like the three main sins that most people say something about. They get upset when somebody murders a baby. They get upset if somebody's raped. That's another one. They get upset if it's pedophilia. They're mad if it's porn, maybe. They mad when it's I'm talking about like bound to a statue idolatry, not greedy idolatry necessarily. Not the other kind of idolatry when you join yourself to their idolatrous rituals, but only the bow down before a statue one. And they might get upset if you tell a joke about their mama, but they're not upset when there's a comedian who literally makes a living off of doing that, just insulting and joking and making fun of people. They don't cancel culture them for that. There's no big, there ain't no mass march of Christians outside of theaters and stadiums. So, there ain't no mass protest of Christians against Tyler Perry and what he does in his Medea film when he dressed up like a woman, cross dresses, act like a female, though he's a man. But it's just a ploy, it's just a joke. But when a real man dressed like a woman and calls himself a she, now all of a sudden it's against God. And man, stop it, man. That's why these people be laughing at majority Christians. And if that's the representation the world gets, I would laugh too. I laugh too, man. Honestly, I would laugh too, bro. I'm like, these people don't even know they don't know what they want. They say they God mad when people serve idols, and they try to tell us to serve Christ and Him only, and salvation is only through Him. But these same people tomorrow will be dressed up like Thor going to Comic Con, want to see Spider Man, talking about Black Wanda, whatever, Wakanda forever and all that kind of stuff. Because they love Black Panther, even though Black Panther told you in the beginning of the film he got his dumb powers from that false Egyptian goddess Bastet, who's the daughter of Ra, whom your God judged on Passover night. But you say he hate them and judge them, but you love them, but that's your God. Like, come on, man. People don't know what you want. You're hypocrites. Oh, Christ loved me so much, no matter what I've done, and He wants me to have my best life, and He, don't want me to. He wants me to love my neighbor and my enemies. But you can't wait for the next Tyson Fury fight, though. You're a Money Mayweather supporter. Like what? And this is the representation that people get from most Christians in the world. And so you wonder why the scripture says that the name of God is blasphemed among the Gentiles because of you. Hypocrite Christians, just like in the past with Israel. The name of God was blasphemed among the nations because of the hypocrisies of Israel, who was supposed to be the people of God by acting like the nations. Those things are written for our learning, like the apostle says, so that we do not crave the same evils as Israel did in the past and do the same things that they did and provoke God to anger as they did. So let this be an example. Let this slap heard around the world. Let all those posts that y'all see coming from people who profess to be Christians, watch their posts. If they're not calling it evil and denouncing it and telling y'all, stay clear of this, if it's I stand with Will Smith, I stand with Chris Rock, look at this slap, guys. If it's something like that, bro, it's corruption. You should tell them, this is corruption. Why you being corrupted? Why are you trying to, through your ignorance or through your maliciousness, why are you trying to entice me to participate in this evil with you? If they ain't denouncing it, they're involved with corruption. And we shouldn't be like that. Um, I just got on here to talk about that, man. I saw it, it annoyed me. I couldn't even go to sleep unless I used it as an opportunity. 'Cause I wasn't gonna dedicate an entire class to this. I mean, I guess I kind of did, but This is gonna be the only time I talk about the slap. Like this is the only time I'll be talking about the slap, bro. Like there's just some things that are so obviously evil that you would think like the newest of Christian would see that, right? You got people that's supposed to have been walking with the Lord for years, and I see them on Facebook talking all deep, showing their libraries of books, and then something stupid like this happens, and then they take all their brethren and they suck them into it. Look at that! I stand over here on this side, and in the comment section they laughing, making jokes, posting memes, putting a little meme of that scene from Friday when what the dude name is Chris Tucker and Ice Cube was like this on the porch, all kind of stuff, and everybody think it's a joke. Do your father think it's a joke? Will Smith chuckled a little bit, but then when he realized Jada was upset for real, he got upset for real. What about you? You might have chuckled because the flesh be riling up, and some of the stuff be funny, but it's funny to the flesh. You gotta realize it's funny to the flesh if you chuckled. Now you might have chuckled, but man, your father's angry. So what you gonna do? Are you gonna tighten up? Are you gonna get serious about it too and come away from it? Or are you gonna continue to chuckle and laugh even though your father's right there angry? What you gonna do? The Lord wants you come from among these wicked people, these hypocrites in these stadiums. It's not for you. Don't aspire to be like them. If you a Christian and you're doing acting classes right now because you want to be in a Hollywood because somebody done told you you can use that as a platform to honor Christ, you can't. You can't. You might could tell somebody about Christ while on set, but you can't live like Christ on set. So the most you can do is talk. And the most they can do is listen, and then they see how you live, and y'all just be two hypocrites together. You can't honor Christ, can't use that as a platform. None of these Christians used that as a platform until New Age Christians came up talking about they can use that as a platform. The apostles didn't use it as a platform. None of the Christians during their time, the first 300, 400 years of the church, nobody used that as a platform. Later on, after Rome and all that kind of stuff, people thought they could start using stuff as a platform that was never used as a platform to preach Christ. You don't need that stuff to preach Christ. You don't need to play basketball to be able to preach Christ. So you don't need to use basketball as a platform. You don't need to be a boxer to be able to preach Christ. You don't have to become a boxer so you can use it as a platform. All right? That's just you doing your own fleshly desires and then using and then cloaking it in so-called righteousness. Because ain't nothing good in what you're doing, in your deeds and your actions. In your mouth, you say good stuff. Maybe your pastor tell you, "Oh, the door is open. Use your gift." Like, stop it, man. They're deceiving you. Don't aspire to be a hypocrite. It's one of the worst professions in the world. The person who aspires to be a hypocrite. But God gave me the talent. No, no. God didn't give you the talent to act like what you're not. God made you in his image to be what you are. In his image, to be upright. But men became corrupt. So that's why they want to be actors. They want to act like what they is now, corrupt. But the Lord didn't make you and give you the talent to act like what you're not. All right? He didn't make men that be actors. All right? So you got to come away from this stuff. If you're in an acting school right now, as a Christian, you need to come out of that acting school. It's not for you. If you're in a boxing ring right now, training for some fight and you're a Christian, come out of that. It's not for you. You're not to tear up the handiwork of God for your own vain glory. Beat a man up so you can honor Christ somehow by telling people about Christ. You don't need to beat a man up to tell people about Christ. So stop it. You're lying to yourself and you're lying to other Christians and you're sucking them in the evil and get them destroyed. We will be talking about the acting stuff again and the sports thing again. This is the perfect opportunity to bring it up. But I ain't gonna be talking about this slap no more. This was just stupid. It was dumb. It was evil. Everything about it was evil. All the radars of Christians should be going off right now. Nobody should be laughing about it. Even if you chuckle, you should know, bro, this is the flesh. You definitely shouldn't go, ain't nothing wrong with it, man. What's wrong with it? If you're doing that, you just deceived. All right. Even if you chuckled, realize it was the flesh that chuckled. And as long as you know it's the flesh that chuckled, then you'll know it was evil. You'll know it was evil and not good. And that's the first step to being able to identify, uh, these things of the world. And then you'll know how to deal with it going forward. All right, brothers and sisters. So I'm gonna let y'all go ahead and get sleep. I'm gonna get sleep myself. Lord's will, I see y'all Wednesday class. But yeah, bro, this was evil, bro. All right. Don't imitate that. Don't laugh at it. Avoid the Christians that talk about it and gloat about it. If anything, question them. Ask them, why you ain't denouncing this? It's evil. But I warn you, some of the responses you may get. All right. But that just should expose to you who you need to avoid. These corrupt brothers and sisters who love evil and think nothing wrong with it. You should avoid them. They're corrupt. They're leavened. All right, y'all. Lord's will, I'll see y'all Wednesday night for the class. All right. Peace.